Today is Wednesday, January 19th, 2005, and this is the beginning of an interview with Harry Curtis Hampton, Jr. at the Erlanger HealthLink Plus office in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Mr. Hampton was born on April 3rd, 1949, and is now 55 years old. My name is Michael Willie, and I'll conduct this interview. Mr. Hampton, could you state for the recording your name and its spelling, please?
Harry Curtis Hampton, Jr., Harrycurtis-Hampton.
Okay. And during which war did you serve, Mr. Hampton?
Vietnam.
And in which branch of the service?
United States Army.
What was your highest rank?
Sergeant E5.
Okay. Where were you born, Mr. Hampton?
Erlanger Hospital, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I'll be darned. All right. And tell me about your family. Do you have any brothers or sisters growing up?
I've got a brother 2 years younger than I am.
Okay. Just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
All right. Now, you're born in Chattanooga. Were you raised here also? Did you
Raised in Rossville and Fort Oglethorpe,
Okay.
Georgia, but
Pretty
in
much
this
right
area.
around the same area. Okay. Did you graduate high school in the area?
Rossville High School,
Okay.
1968.
1968. All right. Now, what did your parents do? What did your dad do for a living?
He was a machinist, tool and die maker, and Jimco Incorporated down in Fort Oglethorpe.
Okay.
And my mom was just a housewife.
All right. All right. So, did you play sports in high school, athletically involved, or?
Nah, I just hung around school,
Yeah.
tried to get through it.
Okay. All right. So, after high school, what happens? What is your plan now? High school, coming out of high school, most people don't have a plan, pretty much anyway. Did you have any idea of what you wanted to do?
Didn't really have a plan. Already looking at what I might do, and I had already applied to Iowa University to go to college, and Trevecca Nazarene College in Nashville, Tennessee had been accepted by both just prior to graduation.
All right. And so what happens?
Well, I really wasn't college material. I just squeaked through high school, and I really wasn't ready yet to go to college. Graduated, I think it was around the first part of June of '68. Hung around, worked at Lane Funeral Home in Rossville for about a month, and went one day down through Rossville and passed the enlistment office downtown and stepped in and rewrote history.
Okay, so you actually signed up for the service?
Yes.
All right. Now, did you consult your parents at all, or consult anybody?
They were on vacation when I enlisted. That was a vacation present when they got back. I told them I was in the Army now.
Okay. Now, first of all, how'd they feel about that?
Well, my dad was a World War II veteran in the Navy, and so it didn't bother him that much. He just wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing, and my mom really didn't know what to think, so it wasn't any problem.
Right. But we're in at least in this part of the country, pretty conservative. So
Yeah.
probably, I mean, the war at that time has been going on for a while. And was that any thought in your mind as far as being in the war, having to?
Well, that's the reason I went in and signed up. In the 60s and late 60s, most people were being drafted. And like I said, I'd been accepted at 2 schools with a hope of avoiding the draft, but I really didn't want to go to school. So I decided, well, I'm going to be drafted. I might as well go in and talk to them. And they had a good program back in '68. You could go in with a guaranteed option of what you signed up for. And if you either got your field or they let you go back home. So I went in and talked and signed up for warrant officer flight training because I wanted to fly helicopters.
Okay.
I thought I did anyway.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, what kind of commitment are we talking about then when you sign up?
I signed up for 3 years.
Okay.
3-year commitment.
Okay. Is that 3 years active and then?
Right.
Okay.
Then been 3 years inactive afterwards.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And that's your option, right? I mean.
Right. That's what I signed up for,
Gotcha.
with a guaranteed option of what I would sign up for would be go to flight school to learn to fly a helicopter, or all contracts was null and void.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, that's not. I mean, considering most people were getting drafted, and eventually you probably would have ended up there anyway. This is probably a good option for you, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, a good as far as rationalizing it, I guess it pretty much is. Okay, so you sign up. Then how long after you graduate from high school do you do this? I mean, is this
Graduated first part of June of '68, and 11th of July is when I went and signed up. So it was about a month after I graduated.
all right? Okay, so when you go to the enlistment office, I mean, do you have a physical at that time, or is it basically we'll get in touch with you, come back?
They schedule you a physical, but they take you down to it. My physical was scheduled in Atlanta, and so they carried me to Atlanta for my physical. I think it was the next week. I think I took a week delay so that I could tell my parents when they come back from vacation that
Right.
I was leaving.
Okay, and do you have a girlfriend at that time? Do you have any steady?
No, at that time, no.
Okay.
I had been dating up until about February of that year, and we broke up, and so I really didn't have a commitment to anybody, and I was just hanging around doing nothing, and so I wanted something to do, and I thought he might give me something.
You know, I mean, what about dominoes? You know. All right. So now, are you in pretty good shape at that time?
Oh yes.
Okay. So where do you go for basic training?
Well, I went to Atlanta. Lead up to that, I went to Atlanta, had my physical, passed everything on my physical with flying colors. Got to the part where you have your eyes checked, and it was okay except for the fact that my eye problem that I had gave me a light refraction, and my glasses corrected it, which means the light's coming into my eyes, the glasses curves it a little bit, and they said that helicopter flying, you'd be flying in between tree limbs and sitting down on an empty spot, and it was very important to see better than I could see. So I didn't pass the physical for the warrant officer flight training. And my option was then, of course, null and void contract, but I'd already finished my basic, and not basic, but my physical. And at that time, I couldn't tell you the difference between a PFC and a 3-star general. But it was an officer sitting there, and he said, "What option do you want? Do you want to go home?" And I kind of looked at him and smiled, because I'm 19 years old, out of school, no college plans, already physical taken, and I kind of looked at him and smiled, and I said, "Well, I figure a slow bus back to Rossville, go back to Chattanooga and then down to Rossville, my draft letter will probably beat me home." He just laughed, and I said, "What other option do I have?" And he said, "Well, I can give you 2 years and your choice of fields." So I knew then that 90% of the people going in were going to Vietnam. So I said, well, if I'm going to have to go anyway, I want all the training I can get. Give me infantry, give me the training I'm going to need when I get over there. And I took the 2 years in infantry and went home to tell my parents where I was, what I was going to do. Then I was assigned to Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Fort Polk, Louisiana. Now that's in July?
This is in July, and miserable weather down there.
Yeah.
Summer is miserable in anywhere.
Like that.
Well, if the basic training didn't wear you out, the mosquitoes were going to tear you out. So it was rough.
Now, but physically, at least, you're in pretty decent shape.
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
So, what about the psychological aspect, the mental aspect, that they are treating you basically like a lower than low and jumping on you? You have no choice about what you want to, everything is by orders. Do you have any trouble with that?
That was a shock when I first got there, because your enlistment NCO, he's real nice, and everybody down at the physical place was real nice, and then you get there and you step off the bus and they line you up and start calling you dog meat and everything else, and it's kind of a cultural shock. But it wasn't that bad, because you've seen enough on TV and know a little bit about basic training, and so it wasn't all bad. It was different than I anticipated, but it was a good experience.
All right. Now, what kind of things are you doing in basic training? What are you learning? What are you doing physically?
Trying to get you in physical shape. You're doing in Fort Polk, Louisiana, I don't think we walked anywhere we ever went. We ran everywhere. And then, of course, the physical training. And then, of course, I had a lot of military training, learning who you are and who officers are and who the sergeants were. Giving you a lot of good training for the basic part of military life. It was enjoyable. It was
All right. Now, are you probably exposed to people from all over the country too?
Oh yes, yes. In fact, we got to meeting several of the people, and of course I met a set of twins that were there. Last name was Gwen, and they were from, I believe they were from out towards Oklahoma or somewhere, or Texas. And Tommy was, I got real close with him, and my ex-girlfriend was named Gwen, Brenda Gwen, and his same spelling, so I thought they might have been related, which they weren't. And so I kind of told him about her, and he told me to write her, and I did. And so while I was in basic training, we got back together and lining up a date whenever I would ever get a break from that place.
Right, right. And gave you at least a little something to look
Yes.
for, right?
And somebody to write to.
Uh-huh. You're exposed to many people from up north? Did they have any Yankees coming down there?
Oh yeah, you had people from all over the country that were there. And it was a good experience. You got to, because basically all I knew was people I graduated from high school with and the people that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Army, you got to meet a lot of different people, all of you the same age, same optimism. You were stuck having to go through the same ordeal day in and day out.
And mostly draftees?
I think a lot of them were draftees. Probably less than a third of them were RAs. But most of them were U.S. And then some of them were National Guard in for their training.
Okay.
But
all right. So how long does basic training actually last?
basic training itself lasted 8 weeks.
Uh-huh. And any point at which you think I'm just not going to be able to make it, or?
No, I was I enjoyed it. I really did. It was a challenge physically and mentally too. I really enjoyed it. My military life I was kind of getting worried when I first sent me down there. They lost my records. I was stuck in a holding company until my records caught up. So I was there probably a week or two before basic training really started. I got through basic training, survived it, was assigned to advanced infantry training at Fort Polk, Louisiana. They lost my records again right there at Fort Polk. And so I was in another holding company for about 2 weeks till they could find my records. It seemed like everywhere I went, I was in a holding company, waiting on something to catch up. And I thought I was going to spend half my military career in standby.
Right. All right. So now your advanced infantry training, or your advanced infantry training is just that, right?
Right, AIT, Advanced Infantry Training.
All right. And so what are you learning in here? Is it specialized with all weapons, or?
Light weapons instruction, and all the different kinds of weapons that infantrymen would be coming in contact with. You were beginning to get a lot of your jungle training, Vietnam training, and first aid, all the things that you would need in combat to be assigned to a infantry platoon somewhere.
Is that Tigerland? Is that?
Yes, Tigerland, USA.
Okay. So, I mean, it really is, as far as scenarios go, you're in a, I guess, as comparable as you can be environment, right?
It was strange. It was different, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed every part of it. Of course, being hollered at and run everywhere you go. If you got to go to PX, you ran. If you going to chow, you ran. You run to get in line, wait forever. I kind of got tired of all the running. Would like to have walked, and every once in a while when nobody was looking, I'd walk somewhere just to see how far I could get. But you didn't get very far because somebody eventually, with all the drill sergeants around you, you got caught eventually.
Do you have instructors who had been over in Vietnam giving you
Yes,
practical?
Yes. The drill sergeants were really knowledgeable. We had some good drill sergeants in the Army. We probably had some good officers, but at that point in the military, you don't really come in contact with officers too much. It's mostly your drill sergeant. And it was, and we had, now of course we had some that was rough. I mean, they felt like end of the day you needed to hurt. Your muscles needed to be sore, and so they did everything and made sure you were sore.
Right, but just from what I've heard of drill instructors, it's for a reason, is to prepare you.
Oh yes. Well, most people, and I was one of them, my age, really didn't have discipline, that kind of discipline. And you've got to have, the military is based on discipline, and you've got to know how to take an order without question, without saying why or anything else, and that was basically one of the reasons they were doing it. Of course, getting you in physical shape too.
All right, so the AIT phase then, how long does that last?
8 weeks.
8 weeks, all right. Then by the time you finish with your AIT, do you have orders? Do you have an MOS? I mean...
Yeah, I went in, when you get through with your AIT, you have your MOS. That's 11 Bravo for infantry. And from there, you're either going to a unit somewhere or you sign up for additional training. So it's, during this time, I signed up to go to jump school. I wanted to be a paratrooper. So I could add that 11 Bravo and then put that P on the end of it for paratrooper.
Right.
And I signed up for it, and then meanwhile they lost my records again. And so I was stuck for about 2 weeks after AIT. And when I got through with that, they sent me to Fort Benning, Georgia for 3 weeks for jump school.
And is this a voluntary, or do you have to qualify?
You sign up for it, and of course you qualify for it while you're there. They really put you through the test. You either make it or you don't make it at jump school.
Like 3 weeks?
Right, 3 weeks of, and I thought basic was running. Jump school was really, they pushed you to your limits physically to get you in good shape for, because you're 3 weeks long, and at the end, your last week, you make your 5 jumps. And so you've got to be ready in 2 weeks to ready for that 3rd week. And they had, I don't think there was probably more than about 10 in our company that didn't make it to the jump part of it. Now we had a few that didn't make it through the jump part because they landed wrong and broke an ankle or something, but most everybody made it. It was an experience. When I got through jump school, I finally got to look at my records, and then I was 11 Bravo infantry, and somewhere in there in the holding time they had assigned me to 11 Charlie unit, and so in 2 weeks holdover I had 8 weeks training of 11 Charlie mortar training. And so I was an infantryman and a mortar man when I got through, and I said, I haven't been nowhere. And they said, we're not going to change it because every time we touch your records, they get lost. So
right.
I went through military record with 2 trainings, MOSs, but only went to 1 actual training.
It looks good on the resume, right?
Well, it looks good on the resume, especially when they're going to send you. You needed all the references you could get.
Right. Okay. Now, by this time, had you been able to see your girlfriend?
Oh yes, after basic, we got a little break, and I went home on leave, and we got back together, and she was working down in Fort Oglethorpe at a little place called Roy's Grill, because we'd set up a date to get together, and that was a unique experience. I still had my old 50 Chevrolet that I had when I went in the service, and I drove down to Roy's Grill down in Fort Oglethorpe to see her. And she was working, and it was dark, and it was getting close to closing time, so I just backed my Chevrolet up in the parking lot, and she saw it through the window but couldn't see it good. And every time she'd come by, she'd look, and then she'd start talking to this other waitress that was in there. And finally, the other girl just came around there and stuck her head up to the window, looking out like that. And I said, well, I might as well get up and go in, so I went in. But I remember Tommy Gwynn was the reason that I wrote her, and I owe a lot to old Tommy back then, because we've been married 34 years to the same girl that...
I'll be darned. Okay. So you see her right after basic training.
Right.
And, I mean, does the discussion ever go to the point where you say, I'm going to be going to Vietnam, blah, 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 I mean...
Yes, that's something you talk about. You tell your family and your friends, and especially my mom and dad and my brother and of course Brenda, because it would be, Brenda's my girlfriend. It was a reality that a lot of people would go, and of course some other people from around that area had gone to Vietnam. In fact, a good friend of our family lived in Fort Oglethorpe. His name was Arnold, was the last name, and I cannot remember his first name. He was in MP. He was an MP in Vietnam. Lacked about 60 days coming home and was killed. And so all that reality is there, and you just kind of, you know, it's probable. Of course, there's no guarantee. You could get lucky and go to Germany, but it was all probable. And so we got back together between basic and AIT, and of course I went back to AIT at Fort Polk and Tigerland, and I'd write my letters and sign it, "Your Tiger," from Tigerland, and she opted to be called my kitten, and so we were Kitten and Tiger, and we still have things around the house from those days that and we still sign Christmas presents, and I'll sign to Kitten from Tiger from the days of Fort Polk, Louisiana training.
But I mean, are there any promises made that after AIT, any thought that if I make it back, we're gonna?
Well, of course at that time we just started dating back, and I went back for 8 weeks, and we started talking towards, in our conversation, letters and telephone calls of possibly future plans, but it would be after whatever Vietnam experience or wherever I would be assigned. After jump school, or during jump school, I signed up for NCO school, which was also at Fort Benning, and was accepted. And so I spent 12 weeks NCO training in Fort Benning, and of course by then we're at the point where I proposed to her and she accepts, but with the understanding we're not going to get married until after. Because I knew at that time it was pretty sure I was going to Vietnam.
And do either the jump school or the NCO school, do they add to your military commitment? Add any more time to your commitment?
I had to sign up for another month to be able to add jump school on, because it would have taken me down under my 2-year time. And so that's the only thing I had to do was add it, but it was okay. I wanted jump school anyway, because I don't know, something about jumping out of the airplanes. I got my uniform, now there need to be something to put on it. And
Plus, I mean, the challenge that's involved with that for a kid, that's something you can really...
Well, it's something new and something that I'd never been exposed to, and so I thought, well, that sounds exciting. Of course, I didn't know about the 2 weeks prior to actually jumping out of an airplane, what you went through to get there, but it was still worth it in the end. It was a great experience. It was rewarding, and all of it was getting a lot more of the physical training and preparation.
Gotcha. Okay, so then after you finish your NCO school then?
Well, when you get through your NCO school, and NCO school is real in-depth, training you to be a platoon leader, a squad leader, to have men under you and your responsibility to lead them. And so it was a good experience, because I'd always just basically, even up to then, did what I was told, but then they start teaching you got to make decisions, and men are going to be under your responsibility of what happens to them. And
but still taking orders from your...
Yes, but you can take order from anybody who's got one grade above you.
Right. But still, I mean, that responsibility, I think, just from everything I've heard, the NCO is the most respected, because he's the guy that leads.
The Army is built around the NCO.
That's the truth, you know. I mean, because I know a lot of the the officers, the second lieutenants, the guys coming straight out, look straight to the NCO for their guidance, you know, coming in there, because you...
Especially your higher ranked NCOs, and with service time, and you get a lot of experience the longer you're in the service.
So I mean, in your NCO school, then what kind of practical advice do you get? Things that aren't in the books, but the guys who have have been over there, the guys who have been through it? What kind of practical?
All your leaders that were in charge of training us were Vietnam veterans. We did a lot more in-depth, and one of the reasons I wanted to sign up for it is they did a whole lot of actual in-depth Vietnam training. They had villages set up just like you would find in Vietnam. You had situations where you had to make decisions, and of course everybody was the same rank in training, but each time one would be assigned, you're the squad leader, and your job is to take your squad from this point to that point over there, and that's what you got to go through. Now you had to determine how you can. Now you can't touch anything red, that's radioactive. You can't touch anything this because that's explosive. So how are you going to get your people one by one across? And you had to do a lot of quick thinking in preparation of what you'd have to actually face in combat. Of course, at least there nobody's shooting at you and
Right.
everything else. But it was really very rewarding and was not only worth the investment, but I knew it would be a great practical help, an investment of time and energy, but it would be a great practical help because if you went to Vietnam, and I knew I was going to have to go eventually, and I just wanted everything that I could know about how to survive and get myself back home.
Right, right. And
Because I had a kitten waiting for her tiger at home, and I had to get back.
That's right. Now, had all the stuff with Cali and come out at that time?
No, that actually that started while I was over there.
Okay.
I was over in Vietnam then.
Okay.
After NCO school, which is 12 weeks long, then you're assigned to a basic training unit. No, it was a AIT unit, an advanced infantry training unit, and you were assigned to a unit. I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia, down in Augusta, and I spent 8 weeks with the AIT unit as I guess you call it on-the-job NCO training. I was a buck sergeant, and I had one floor of the barracks was mine, and another sergeant had the upper floor. We had a little room over to the side, and of course I didn't know that some of those NCOs we had back in basic training could have been NCO training candidates that had just graduated.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. Fort Gordon and Augusta, because that was still home. I love Georgia anyway, so I got from Fort Benning to Fort Gordon. And then again, at the end of that training, the last couple of weeks, we had one of the privates came in, was drunk, and came in and got in a fight with one of the other NCOs. And I was on CQ duty that night. And when the sergeant came in, of course, I could tell he'd already been in a fight, and then of course the other one come in, started to fight right there in the middle of the building, and of course we had to call the MPs. So I got, I think it was 6 weeks held over there before he went to court-martial for assaulting an NCO, and it was, like I said before, I thought I was going to spend half my military life on standby waiting for something between training and between this and that, but it was good. I was at Fort Gordon. I had night duty the night that the man landed on the moon. I remember listening to it on the radio there in the thing, when one small step for man and one giant step for mankind, and I thought, man, we finally made it. I said, now if we could just get this war over with before I get there.
Right.
But it didn't happen.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, at that point, then, when you're held over at that time, do you have standing orders then for Vietnam?
No, still ain't got my orders because everything's still on hold, because now I'm a witness for a court-martial, and so I have to hang around for it. So it finally, when it was finally over with, I got my orders then to go home for, I forgot how many days I had. I think I had a week or 2 week leave, and then to report to Fort Dix, New Jersey for flight to Vietnam.